Hi there. This is a set of videos that I put together just for you. I look forward to reading your comments and receiving your suggestions on how to make these videos more enjoyable or ideas for specific content that you might have. Thanks for watching. Today, 3 triple black Porsches, a Ferrari race car, and a Ferrari street car. But what more could you want? Hi there. In Porsche sales today on Bring a Trailer, a triple black 1991 944 S2 Cabriolet with 99,000 miles sold for $13,777. This is a fantastic purchase price for this S2 cab. Very well purchased. Another triple black car, this a 14,000 mile 2004 911 C4S Cabriolet sold for $52,000. Sold with the hardtop and the original, better, wheels. This was a high sale price for a 996 C4S and justified based upon the condition. Look at those seats. This was a fair sale. Another triple black car, this a 3,600 mile 2012 911 Turbo Cabriolet sold for an eye-watering $235,000. Purchased by a gentleman that I previously referenced, the buyer of a Ford GT, a Ferrari F430, and a 4,600 mile 2011 911 Turbo S. This was very well sold. It is nearly a perfect car with a laundry list of options. Look at this. And while I thought that I would present this car in today's short video, it's just a new old stock car. Beautiful, showroom condition, 3,000 miles. It's a dream, but to me, it should be a $100,000 dream. Don't get me wrong, I think it's a fantastic car, and I adore 997s, but it's just too much dough. That said, I'm very happy for the buyer and seller. A repainted white 1970 911T Targa project car sold for $41,911. Originally tangerine, this car has engine troubles described as fuel leaking from the carb, starting and running issues, and paint chipping in several places. Yep, those are issues. Strip it and spray it in tangerine, and there's probably room for a small profit. This was probably well purchased. A pastel beige 1986 and a half 928S with 68,000 miles sold for $46,000. So many polarizing colors. This does nothing for me, but several comments remarked about the beautiful color. This 928 appears to have been in good repair, and the paint is solid, if not universally pleasing. This was a fair sale. A Baltic blue over beige 1990 911 C4 Targa with 70,000 miles sold for $83,000. A clean, well-documented car. This was a fair sale. For those keeping score at home, the reserve price was $75,000. A linen gray 1989 911 Coupe with 95,000 miles presented by a great seller sold for $155,000. A beautiful car from all angles and in every way. This was a top-of-market sale price. I love it. I'll show more and talk about this car in today's short video. On the Ferrari side, yesterday I missed a sale. A mostly blue Euro 1997 F355 Challenge sold for $105,000. One of 108 produced, this is a car that could potentially be registered for street use. It's due for service and other items need addressing, but still seems fair. If you're enjoying this content, hit that like button, and to ensure that you receive notice about tomorrow's show, go ahead and subscribe. On PCarMarket, a lovely Atlas Gray over Stone Gray 2005 Boxster S with 55,000 miles sold for $24,750. This was a fair sale on a clean car. I'm not the biggest fan of Stone Gray, but it's so much more livable than all graphite. On the Ferrari side, a Rosso Corsa over Tan 21,000 mile 1987 328 GTS sold for $87,000. Unsold when recently bid to $95,000 on Bring a Trailer, I guess the seller decided it was deal time. This was a fair sale. 2 cars failed to meet reserve pricing today on Cars and Bids. Today, January 12th, a Guards Reddish 2001 Porsche 911 with 40,000 miles was bid to $28,500. A Grigio Silverstone 2007 Ferrari 599 GTB 6-speed conversion with 1,300 miles was bid to $221,500. That's a wrap for today. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Be well. Today, Porsches include a Targa, a pair of turbos sold, a pair of turbos unsold, and a Ferrari 430 Scuderia. Manual. Hi there. In Porsche sales today on Bring a Trailer, an Arctic Silver over a Sea of Gray 1999 Boxster with 55,000 miles sold for $10,100. Acquired on this platform in March of last year for $13,000, the photography and car presentation was much better in that sale. This may have been well purchased, but based solely on this showing, I would have passed. A black, modified 2003 911 Turbo project car sold for $44,000. This car was presented as being mechanically sound, but it is beset with numerous opportunities, mostly cosmetic, and the seller had a desire to be extremely upfront about them. This was likely well purchased. A light yellow 1974 911 Coupe 3.0 liter sold for $63,000. Bid to $36,000 in a March 2020 sale, many repairs have been completed since that time. A reliable community member described the car as very capable, with just the paint lacking. This was a fair sale. A Seal Gray, supercharged 2005 911 S Coupe with 40,000 miles sold for $60,000. Acquired on this platform in 2019 for $46,000. Since that time, an LN Engineering IMS retrofit kit and a Borla exhaust system have been installed, as well as replacing the clutch, flywheel, and rear main seal. Said to produce about 500 horsepower. As long as the installation was sound, this should be a ripper. This may have been well purchased. A GT Silver over a very clean but angry graphite Sea of Gray 36,000 mile 2005 911 Turbo S Cabriolet sold for $69,000. This seems to have been a bargain price paid for this 996. Very well purchased. The seller also just replaced the top at a cost of $6,000. Yow. A Carrera White Metallic over a flaming, bloody, garnet red 17,000 mile 2015 911 Targa 4S sold for $118,000. Acquired on this platform in 2021 for $91,000. The addition of sport techno wheels added a lot to the attractiveness of this car. This was well sold. On the Ferrari side, a Rosso Scuderia 2008 430 Scuderia 6-speed conversion with 19,000 miles sold for $270,000. Perhaps a little light on the final price, I'll consider this to be a fair sale, and I like it. I'll show more and talk about this 430 in today's short video. If you're enjoying this content, hit that like button. And to ensure that you don't miss tomorrow's show, go ahead and subscribe. On PCarMarket, 2 Porsches, a GT Silver 35,000 mile 2004 911 40th Anniversary Edition was sold for $45,000. This car's condition was above average, and this was a fair sale price on a nice 996 Special Edition. A Grand Prix White 1983 911 SC with 136,000 miles sold for $50,000. The interior is a melange of brown shades ranging from burnt umber to Van Dyke. None are favorites of mine. This was a fair sale, with the reserve removed once the car hit $48,500. An enamel Porsche crest measuring 12 by 15 inches sold for $850. A Porsche RSR painting measuring 53 by 34 inches sold for $2,700. Both of these pieces of art were fair sales. A single-sided illuminated roof dealer sign measuring 7 feet by 3 feet sold for $7,000. Okay, brace yourselves. I like this, or at least I like the look of it. This was well sold. 3 cars on Bring a Trailer were bid with reserves not met today, January 13th. A black 1986 Porsche 911 slant nose conversion was bid to $101,000. Yellow, cashmere beige. A black Rest of World 1997 911 Turbo with 61,000 miles was bid to $145,000. A Grand Prix White 1979 928 with 80,000 miles was bid to $13,500. Lots of gremlins in place here. On Cars and Bids, a 2008 Porsche Cayman S with 110,000 miles was bid to $19,737. That's a wrap for today. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Be well. Today, Porsches include a couple of Cayman, a turbo chassis, and a special guest car. Hi there. In Porsche sales today on Bring a Trailer, a Meteor Gray 37,000 mile 2007 Cayman S sold for $32,500. A clean car, this was a fair sale. Another Cayman S, this an Atlas Gray 8,000 mile 2006 sold for $46,000. Yellow, sand beige. This is a fat sale price, well sold. A repainted silver modified 1986 911 Turbo chassis located in Canada sold for $51,000. A massive sale price for a chassis, this car was originally delivered to the U.S. in Prussian blue with cobalt cloth interior. Wild. Still, very well sold. Our special guest car today is a white with blue stripes, 1,800 mile 2005 Ford GT that sold for $405,000. This was in line with recent sales, a fair price. That's a wrap for today. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Be well. Porsches today include a couple of Targas and a 912. Ferraris include a 365 GT and an engine. Hi there. In Porsche sales today on Bring a Trailer, an Arctic Silver over Black 2004 911 Targa with 80,000 miles located in Canada sold for $27,750. Targas are more uncommon than coupes or cabs. About 500 were produced in 2004. This was a fair sale. Another Targa, this a metallic blue 1972 911E Targa sold for $77,000. Only 861 E-Targas were produced. A nice car with a nice sound to the engine. I think this was well purchased. A Viper Green 2.7-liter powered 1967 912 coupe sold for $50,500. An unusual find. This is interesting. I think it was well sold. On the Ferrari side, a silver 1968 365 GT sold for $156,365. The 33rd of 801 produced from 68 to 71. This is the largest Ferrari produced, and this V12 2+2 was well purchased. I'll show more and talk about this car in today's short video. A Ferrari F131 V8 display engine sold for $35,000. An engine manufactured for the 360 Modena, this engine lacks internals and is an artwork. This seems well sold. One car on Bring a Trailer was bid with its reserve not met today, January 15th. A blue 1974 Dino 308 GT4 was bid to $56,000. That's a wrap for today. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Be well. Today, Porsches include a 968, a pair of 911 Turbos, 996 and 997, and a pair of 911 Cabs, 996 and 997. Hi there. In Porsche sales today on Bring a Trailer, a black 2001 911 coupe with 87,000 miles sold for $21,250. A nicely sorted car. Not perfect, but it seems solid. This was well purchased. An ocean blue over Savannah beige 2000 911 Cabriolet with 52,000 miles sold for $32,750. Yellow. As the seller noted, these 996s in this color combination sell anywhere from $28,000 to $42,000. This was a fair sale. Another blue cab, this a midnight blue over a sea of gray 22,000 mile 2008 911S Cabriolet, sold for $56,000. A mostly Betty. Beautiful exterior, semi-disappointing interior. This was a very well-sold result. Another yellow in a well-sold result, a speed yellow 1993 968 Club Sport with 68,000 kilometers, sold for $57,000. These are fun cars, and this one brought a lot of money, especially for one not having the original magnesium wheels. I'll show more and talk about this car in today's short video. A Seal Gray 2003 911 Turbo Coupe with 76,000 miles, sold for $64,196. Equipped with aftermarket intake and exhaust and more, this was a nice car, well purchased. A paint to sample Horizon Blue 2008 911 Turbo Coupe with 56,000 miles, sold for $98,000. Yellow. And another Betty. A fair price on an uncommon color. I really like these. Interestingly, a similarly colored car sold on PCarMarket in November for $96,000. A Polar Silver 1996 911 C4S with 123,000 kilometers, located in Canada, sold for $105,000. Now that's an interior color. This was a good price on a good car. The location definitely impacted the price. This was well purchased. If you're enjoying this content, hit that like button, and to ensure that you don't miss tomorrow's show, go ahead and subscribe. On PCarMarket, a slate gray, backdated 1980 Porsche 911 Steve McQueen tribute car sold for $124,250. An odd build. I'm not a fan, especially of the interior. It's 2,400 pounds and it has a 300 horsepower engine, so of course it's a performer. The components in the car and the assembly appear to be high quality work, except for the ridiculous seats. This was well purchased. 4 cars on Bring a Trailer were bid with reserves not met today, January 16th. A paint to sample Ruby Star 2022 911 GT3 with 1,700 miles was bid to $255,000. A Kingston Gray, backdated 1975 911S Coupe 3.8 liter was bid to $257,000. A triple black 1988 911 Cabriolet with 170,000 miles was bid to $36,000. A Carrera White 7,000 mile 2018 911 T was bid to $92,250. That's a wrap for today. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Be well. Today, Porsches include mostly topless cars. Spring is a couple of months away, and now's the time for a bargain. Hi there. In Porsche sales today on Bring a Trailer, a forest green over a sea of gray 26,000 mile, one owner 2003 Boxster S sold for $25,000. A nice low mile 986. This was a fair sale. A red over black 1960 356B Roadster track car sold for $82,000. Acquired on this platform for $58,000 in May 2019, to me this car has a cobbled together appearance. $69,000 in repairs and maintenance were performed last year between May and August. It needs more work. This was well sold. A burgundy over black, 23 years owned, 1968 912 Coupe sold for $67,000. The seller has added 500 miles in 23 years. This is a decent car, well sold. A black over black, 1987 911 Targa with 110,000 miles sold for $72,500. This is a very clean Targa, and it was fairly sold today. A Guards red over Cashmere beige 35,000 mile 1997 911 Cabriolet sold for $65,000. A good Guards red, even with the partial yellow interior, this was a bargain price on a 993. Very well purchased. I'll show more and talk about this in today's short video. On the Ferrari side, a single-sided illuminated Ferrari sign sold for $10,000. It's a sign. Well sold. If you're enjoying this content, hit that like button, and to ensure that you receive notice about tomorrow's show, go ahead and subscribe. On PCarMarket, an Arctic Silver over Boxster Red 1999 Boxster with 71,000 miles sold for $9,250. A great buy on a good car, this 986 was well purchased. An 8-foot by 9-inch single-sided illuminated Porsche sign sold for $9,000. It's a sign. Well sold. One car on Bring a Trailer was bid with its reserve not met today, January 17th. A black 1988 Porsche 928 S4 with 40,000 miles was bid to $52,500. That's a wrap for today. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Be well. Today, Porsches include a GT3, a real engine, and an artwork engine. We also have a Ferrari 308, as well as an Italian and a French guest. Hi there. In Porsche sales today on Bring a Trailer, a modified 1982 911 SC engine sold for $37,000. The quality modifications performed last year on this carbureted, never installed 3.5-liter that pulled 329 horsepower on the dyno totaled more than $40,000. That was without the donor engine. This was well purchased. A blue and orange Porsche 928 V8 coffee table sold for $12,800. This is a ridiculous amount of money for this. I dislike it. I think the Gulf colors are tacky, and the intakes popping through the glass make it only marginal as a table. On the Ferrari side, a Rosso Corsa over beige, single-family owned 1985 Ferrari 308 GTS Quattro Vivale with 33,000 miles sold for $131,000. An absolute nosebleed price for this 308. It is in excellent condition, and it does validate the desire for provenance that new owners crave. This was very well sold. If you're enjoying this content, hit that like button, and to ensure that you don't miss tomorrow's show, go ahead and subscribe. On Cars and Bids, an Arctic Silver over Black 2008 Porsche 911 Targa 4S with 71,000 miles sold for $50,000. Sticker on this one new was $110,000, and today it was fairly sold. On PCarMarket, a Speed Yellow 1,000-mile 2004 Porsche 911 GT3 sold for $190,722. Sticker on this was $103,000. The sale price today is high, but likely fair. How many 1,000-mile, 20-year-old GT3s are there? And how many in Speed Yellow? I'll show more and talk about this car in today's short video. On PCarMarket, an honorary mention sale, an Argento Nürburgring 12,000-mile 2000 360 Modena with an F1 transmission sold for $60,750. Remember the 6-speed conversions priced at $35,000 or $40,000? Excellent candidate here. A second honorary mention today goes to our French car, a black 500-mile 2010 Bugatti Veyron 16.4 that sold for $1,650,000. A W16 16-cylinder engine, 4,000 pounds, nearly 1,000 horsepower, and 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds. Adequate. A reflective, single-sided Ferrari museum sign from Maranello measuring 4 feet in length sold for $4,000. E un segnale stradale, ben venduto. 2 cars on Bring a Trailer were bid with reserves not met today, January 18th. A 99% gorgeous Polar Silver 1994 Porsche 911 Turbo 3.6 with 46,000 miles was bid to $342,500. The frown has to be fixed on a $750,000 car. The seller should have accepted this offer. A black 49,000-mile 1987 944 Turbo with 49,000 miles was bid to $19,500. That's a wrap for today. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Be well. Today, Porsches include a Targa, a Carrera RS, and another 964 C4. Hi there. In Porsche sales today on Bring a Trailer, a black over black 29 years owned 1985 911 Targa with 96,000 miles sold for $43,500. A scruffy looking car with seemingly zero sale preparation. The wing at the back set a bad tone, but this may turn out to be a bargain. A tip for potential sellers? Vacuum. As is, this was on the high end of a fair sale. A midnight blue 1993 911 C4 Coupe with 129,000 miles sold for $78,964. A very attractive car. This is a fat sale price for one with numerous paint corrections, some obvious, and for a 964 with a need for an engine rebuild that will likely run more than $25,000. And then you'd still have a chassis with 130,000 miles on it and yellow interior. Well sold. On PCarMarket, a maritime blue 59,000 kilometer 1992 911 Carrera RS located in France sold for $235,000. Recall on Bring a Trailer a couple of days ago, we had this car, a Ruby Stone RS Club Sport that brought $401,000. It's one of 290 produced. Today's car is one of 1,900. This seems to have been a fair sale price on a beautiful 964. I'll show more and talk about this car in today's short video. 2 items on Bring a Trailer were bid with reserves not met today, January 19th. A modified black 2011 Porsche Cayman race car was bid to $30,303. A 1973 Porsche 911T 2.4-liter MFI engine was bid to $8,500. That's a wrap for today. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Be well. Today, Porsches include a GT4, a couple of turbos, one a Turbo S. All told, a handful of 911s and a couple of Cayman and a Boxster. Hi there. In Porsche sales today on Bring a Trailer, a midnight blue 2007 911 Coupe with 84,000 miles sold for $43,000. This car has an accident in its past, and I would call the sale well sold. But it's really about market price these days. I've previously remarked about high prices for 997s. This was too much. This should be a mid-30s car, especially with the two-tone seas of gray interior. A GT Silver over bloody Boxster Red 48,000-mile 2005 911 Turbo S Cabriolet sold for $93,000. In September 2021, this 996 sold on this same platform for $93,000. Now, just 600 miles later, samesies. This was a fair sale. A lightly modified Guards Red 24,000-mile 2001 911 Turbo Coupe sold for $81,000. Yellow. This sale price was fair, but the seller should have mounted the original wheels before photography. Another lightly modified red 911, this a Bahia Red 2.7-liter powered 1970 911T sold for $43,000. Potentially a bargain, but with some questions. Clearly a driver with some upgrades along the way. This seller states that the upgraded 230 horsepower engine, rebuilt nearly 20 years ago and 25,000 miles ago, does not leak, and hasn't in that time period. Amazing. Current performance is 0 to 60 in 4.9. That is a fast T. A Grand Prix White 1989 911 Coupe with 79,000 miles presented by a great seller sold for $78,500. A very nice car. This seems to have been a fair sale. A racing yellow 2020 Cayman GT4 with 3,000 miles sold for $125,718. Perhaps just a tad on the rich side, this is an attractive car that has had the suspension lowered and tweaked with new control arms and toe links. It must fly. Yellow. If you're enjoying this content, hit that like button, and to ensure that you don't miss tomorrow's show, go ahead and subscribe. An illuminated single-sided Porsche dealership sign measuring roughly 15 feet long and a foot high sold for $15,000. It's a sign. Well sold. On PCarMarket, a Guards Red over Cocoa 2005 Porsche Boxster with 65,000 miles sold for $19,000. A nice car, this 987 was a fair sale. A Porsche 962 racing car painting measuring 54 by 24 inches was sold for $600. This artwork was a fair sale. 2 Porsches on Bring a Trailer were bid with reserves not met today, January 20th. An agate gray 2022 911 GTS Coupe with 387 miles was bid to $159,001. A modified Grand Prix whitish RSR style 1980 930 Turbo was bid to $100,000. That's a shame. Purchased last March on this platform for $165,000. Yikes. About this car, I commented that the exhaust and tune allowed for, quote, roasting weenies out back. On Cars and Bids, a Meteor Gray 2007 Cayman with 65,000 miles was bid to $19,250. It's noted on C&B that a sale was executed post-auction. That's a wrap for today. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Be well. Today, all Porsche 911s, all in silver. Later, a new feature, a glance at upcoming sales, live auctions. Hi there. In Porsche sales today on Bring a Trailer, a 1969 911E 2-liter engine sold for $16,000. Seemingly a fair sale, the seller did much to enhance the sale with great communication. An Arctic Silver over Blue 22,000-mile 1999 911 Cabriolet sold for $34,996. An early 996 build, this is subject to that micro market, and the favorable mileage and color combination pushed this higher than a casual observer might anticipate. This was a fair sale. A Polar Silver 1996 911 Coupe with 59,000 miles sold for $87,000. Perhaps a tad lower than expected, the black Stone Guards did no favors to the seller. This was a fair sale on a decent 993. Another Polar Silver over Black 993, this a 1996 Turbo with 58,000 miles sold for $200,000. A nicely presented, mostly high-quality car, this was a fair sale given that it has had paintwork in multiple areas. A GT Silver 2022 911 GT3 Touring with 5,900 miles sold for $223,000. Sticker on this 992 was $168,000. So perhaps a nice profit was made after actually putting miles on the car. This was a well-sold market sale, meaning it's overpriced to me, but it's close to general market prices, if you can find one that you like. I'll show more and talk about this car in today's short video. If you're enjoying this content, hit that like button, and to ensure that you don't miss tomorrow's show, go ahead and subscribe. One car on Bring a Trailer was bid with its reserve not met today, January 21st. An Aussie Blue 1969 912 Coupe 4-speed was bid to $44,924. And now for the new feature, perusing active Bring a Trailer sales closing in the near future. Here's a peek at the few that happened to catch my eye. Closing in 2 days, a black 968 with 75,000 miles and the M030 Sport Package, currently at just over $17,000. Ending in 3 days, a black 98 911S with 73,000 miles from a great seller, currently at $92,000. Ending in 3 days, a white with red 2004 911 GT3 RS with 39,000 miles is currently bid to $180,000. Closing in 6 days is a triple black 9,000-mile 1994 911 Speedster, currently bid to $80,000. Closing in 10 days, a Grand Prix white 1991 911 C4 Leichtbau, currently bid to $200,100. This is an amazing 73-kilometer car/museum piece. Ending in 11 days, a 1990 911 C2 by Singer is currently bid to $876,000. Concluding in 6 days, a 2002 Ferrari 360 Spider, current bid is $71,777. On PCarMarket, ending in 2 days, a black 1997 Porsche 911 Turbo, modified by roof with 70,000 miles, has a current bid of $180,000. Let me know what you think about this feature. I'm curious. That's a wrap for today. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Be well. Today, Porsches include a 928, a 911 Turbo, and a project car. On the Italian side, a Dino, a 308, and a sign. Hi there. In Porsche sales today on Bring a Trailer, a Grand Prix White 1984 928S with 66,000 miles sold for $23,750. Offered on this platform in June of last year with a high bid of $22,928. This was a fair sale. Poor photography central on this listing, but take a gander at the interior. If you can handle that, this was a decent car. A slate gray, modified 2004 911 Turbo Coupe with 82,000 miles sold for $58,000. I've spoken about my affinity for 996 and 997 turbos, and I think that they represent great value. And this is a bargain. The modifications of this car were appropriate and I think actually enhanced value. However, I think most bidders probably took a couple of dollars off because it has been modified. Requiring modifications, a rusty tangerine-ish 1969 911T Targa project car sold for $8,600. Truly, bring a trailer and a dustpan. This was quite an auction. 274 comments on the car, and it sold for $8,500. Many parts are missing. It is a $150,000 to $200,000 car when properly assembled. It might take more than that to get there. This was well sold. If you're enjoying this content, hit that like button, and to ensure that you don't miss tomorrow's show, go ahead and subscribe. On the Italian side, a silver 26 years owned 1977 Ferrari 308 GTB with 129,000 miles sold for $69,308. Listed and closed at $64,000 last November, the high bidder did not complete the transaction. The seller has driven this car 108,000 miles. Fascinating. I love that it's been driven. Still, this seems to be a fair sale. A fly yellow 1971 Dino 246 GT with 45,000 miles sold for $425,000. I covered a similar 1972 Dino a couple of weeks ago that brought $500,000. Today's sale seems slightly on the well-purchased side. I'll compare these Italian Gallos in today's short video. An illuminated, single-sided Ferrari and Marlboro sign measuring 78 by 39 inches sold for $15,500. It's a sign. Well sold. That's a wrap for today. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Be well.